welcome to my channel. This week I'm starting a new series called Terrible Movies and Tea with your host, Chrissy. This week we're starting with a really juicy one. Keyword is Harry Styles. Wait, that doesn't really narrow it down, does it? How about Harry Styles' dupe? Yeah, now you're getting it. You probably already know because it's in the title, but anyway, we're starting with everyone's favorite fanfic, After. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I had never seen this movie before making this video, and can I just say, woof, like, oh my gosh. It is not very good, so it does meet the criteria for my show, that is sure. Anyway, we can't start without tea, so I'm gonna go grab that and we'll be back. So aggressive. Okie dokie. So the movie starts with Tessa swimming in a lake, talking about how boring life is, blah, blah, blah. And can I just say how toxic it is to believe that your life didn't start until you met someone? Like, it's giving unhealthy attachment. But okay. Anyway, so we cut to her moving into the dorms, which, side note, not enough movies take place in college. Like, I feel like it's just a missed avenue. We find out that her mom doesn't like her roommate because of racism. Wait, actually the script says because she's a bad influence, but it was giving kind of racism. She looked at her and she was like, that's a hoodlum. That is a hoodlum. She says bye to her dumpy boyfriend and her mom, and it's just like weird because her side of the room isn't even set up like at all, and they just like leave. It took me and my family ages, and she has to do it like all alone, and that's sad. But don't feel too bad for her. She's like this booky, mousy nerd of a girl who gets to her class so early the door's locked. Be fucking for real. Be for real. Back in her room, she runs into this guy, Harry Styles. You may know him? Oh wait, sorry, no. Harden is his name in this movie. Anyway, so she comes into the room in a towel because, you know, just took a shower. And she sees that Harden is there. I mean, she's very startled, respectfully so. And he's just sitting there being like all snarky and everything, like reading a book. Yeah, and he's reading The Great Gatsby of all books, which I swear these movies always pick like the most 9th grade level reading requirements to show that their characters are smart. Yeah, he was sitting there reading The Great Gatsby, and that's when I knew he wasn't like other boys. Like, if you want to go that trope, at least like do it differently, you know? Tessa's roommate decides to drag her to this party, so that's fun. She picks like this really ugly dress, and I feel so bad about it, but it's really ugly. While they're at the party, they start playing Truth or Dare, and lo and behold, guess who gets dared to kiss Harden? Tessa, and she doesn't because girl boss. Not because she has a boyfriend, as pre-mentioned, but because girl boss. So it's like she gets upset, you know, like about the whole thing. She finds herself in a room, in a bedroom, and she's looking around. She's looking at all these books, and she's like, wow, Worthing Heights, this Withering Heights, Worthing Heights. She's like, wow, Withering Heights, man, whoever has this room, they're a smart one. Anyway, of course it's Harden's room, so he comes in and they have like this conversation about Worthing Heights. Like, it's really weird. Anyway, they almost kiss for real because he's like, well, you still owe me a dad. Oh my god, my accent is so bad. But he's like, well, you still owe me a dad, sir. And she thinks about it. She's thinking about it. I don't know why they made Tessa so morally gray, but very morally gray. But yeah, they're like face to face, like really just about to smooch it off. And I'm thinking to myself, pause. She has a boyfriend. I know he's not a great guy, but he exists. So wait, monogamy, where are we? I know I've been mostly glossing over the like scenes where he's like talking or really doing anything. That's because he's terrible. He's manipulative and he sucks ass. Anyway, the next day in English, they're having a squabble over Pride and Prejudice, which is just like, it's just like every basic white book ever. Like, where's the bluest eye, or like something with flavor, with people of color, you know? A bunch of filler happens and they end up meeting, like seeing each other in a coffee shop, and he comes up to her and they have like the strangest dialogue I have ever heard. But like, he's basically like, oh, I have a place I want to show you. And she's like, oh, really? I don't know if I should go, like that would be weird. And he's like, oh, but you'd like it. And so she's like, okay. I feel like I remember her boyfriend more than she does. Anyway, so she goes with him and they drive out to this lake. Oh my God, foreshadowing. It's the lake from the beginning. And they obviously don't have, you know, swimsuits. Why would she randomly have that? So, you know, she puts on his shirt because she was self-conscious to just be like naked, which is cute, I guess. And so they're swimming in the water. And okay, this part really gets me. So they're swimming in the lake, right? Harding goes, oh, I want to show you something. And she's like, okay, all right. And he's like, close your eyes and go under. And so they both go under, right? The camera stays on the lake and we just get like a still of like the water moving, and then they come up. And then that's just it. Like that's all. That, I guess his whole thing was like showing her how quiet and peaceful it is in the water, but like the way that they filmed it just made it so awkward. It was giving like when you're at a public pool and like some kid is like, hey, want to see my handstand? And then they poorly do a handstand. Like that was the energy. Anyway, things are getting steamy at the lake. They get out. He's like touching on her. She's like gasping at the slightest touch, and he's like, have you never been touched before? She's like, well, no, not really. Yeah, it was just very, very weird. And I just kept thinking, damn, your boyfriend, because they end up kissing. Like they smooch. And I was like, oh, I knew you was playing with the devil, but kissing him too, whoa. Yeah, so Tessa's a cheater. That's what we learned, is that she is a cheater. Or slut shame her. I'm just kidding, no. But it's terrible. Why they had absolutely no reason to make her a cheater. Like there was no reason. The movie would play the exact same without the boyfriend completely, because I haven't even been talking about any of his scenes and it's the same movie. So morally gray, whatever. Okay, they fight like right after this, like extremely immediately after, and this movie just gives me such bad whiplash. It's just like, what? So her boyfriend comes and he brings her flowers and stuff, you know, surprises her on campus. And she's like, oh, you know, I'm very, very surprised. But like they have like a cute like little date thing, and they go to the party that's happening like outside somewhere. I don't fucking know. This guy is like trying to hit on Tessa. And her boyfriend is just like, hey, stop, like back up. But then Harding gets up and fucking loses his shit and like pushes the guy and starts fighting in her honor, I guess. So complicated slay. Anyway, they end up leaving and just like watching a movie back in her dorm. Tessa gets this call from Harding's brother, and he's just like, oh, I need you to come over. Like Harding's having a really hard time. Like blah, blah, blah. Everything's just crazy here. Like he needs you. And so Tessa gets out of bed with her boyfriend to go see this man. Please Jeez, how am I supposed to like this character? She's a little whore, she's a little cheater. Anyway, and so she gets to Hardin's house, and it's like wrecked, like everything is fucked up, broken, a mess. Basically it's just because Hardin has daddy issues because his dad like left Hardin's mom in London, and I don't know. Also, Hardin has a bad relationship with alcohol, so that's a thing. All of these are just red flags to not pursue with this person. Clearly has a lot of things going on. Anyway, yeah, so she talks him down. They like start making out in his room. They have sex? Question mark? I think he was just touching her stomach sensually. I don't know. She falls asleep there and is like running back to the dorms, and lo and behold, Hardin, he followed her, and this whole thing happens because her boyfriend comes out and sees her and sees him, and then he's just like, damn, you weren't here most of the night, like, wow, now this nigga's here. Crazy. Anyway, they break up. Yeah, and we get a montage of Tessa and Hardin just being cute together around campus. Just right after that.
Please carry me home.
I would not do that to my partner, especially if I consider them like my best friend. It was just very, very weird. Anyway, so Tessa's mom is mad about this whole situation because Tessa's mom and her ex-boyfriend are like always in cahoots. Like he would always like be like, oh my god, Tessa's doing all this weird shit at college now, like she's just become a completely different person, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so her mom shows up yelling at her. She cuts her off because she's like, wow, you're just going down a bad path and I'm not gonna support you. And so I guess her cutting her off meant that she can't live in the dorms anymore. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, Hardin buys them a house. Basically, then a whole clusterfuck of things happen. Like that girl Molly, who I hadn't mentioned because it doesn't really matter, but she's in that whole friend group with like everyone, with Hardin and Tessa's roommate and stuff like that. They're always at the parties or whatever. She also had a thing with Hardin at one point in time, and so I guess she's just like jealous or just mad or something. And then Molly tells her, she's just like, you know, Tessa, it was all a bet. And then Tessa's like, what? Really? And then she starts crying right there in front of everyone. And then Hardin follows her out, and he's like, no, you don't understand. And she's like, how am I supposed to trust you? You're a mess. And then he's just like, but that was before I fell in love with you. I mean, he didn't say the second part, which would have saved us so much time if he had said the second part, was that he really actually did care about her. How are you not at the point of saying, I love you, if you're literally living together? But okay. Anyway, they break up. Done. Which begs so many questions that I just won't get into. Okay, so they break up, and I guess it's spring break time now. Time moves so weird in this movie, but she goes home for break, and she talks to her mom. She fixes everything with Miss Mommy Dearest. She talks to her ex, they're all good. She comes back, she slays the rest of the semester, applies for an internship. You never know if she gets it, but all of that happens in the span of 10 minutes. So, whoa, yeah. And then towards the end of the school year for Hardin's English final, he writes it about Tessa, about like love and how much he loves her. And the English teacher gives it to Tessa, which is like, what? Why are English teachers matchmakers? I mean, teachers are pretty messy, so low-key it's not that unbelievable, but still. Anyway, so she reads the letter, she reads the essay, and it's just like, wow, I guess he really does love me. That's amazing. And so she goes out and she meets him at their spot on the lake, and that's when the movie ends. All cute and sweet and happy. Ah, yes. Whew. Wow. That movie was somehow too slow and too fast all at the same time. And the writing is just so bad. Like, there's this part where like they're just randomly talking to each other, and Tessa comes out and he's like, oh, I wasn't expecting to see you here. And then literally the next line is Tessa saying, my dad left when I was 10. Like, what? Okay, we're trauma dumping. Slay, I guess. So fucking weird. My final rating for the movie is a whopping 2 out of 10. 2 tea bags out of 10. Yeah. Because, and I give it 2 because the lake was nice. The lake was very pretty, and I like lakes. Yes. The tea that we drank for this episode, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 10. It just was kind of bitter. Yeah, very bitter, and kind of makes me sad somehow. Somehow this movie just makes me viscerally sad, and I don't know what that's about. Comment down below if you have any recommendations of any bad movies I should watch, and comment if you have any teas I should try it too. That's also a thing. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all so very much, and see you in the next one.